What's up, you fucking goobers? It's your host, with the most, me, callsign Sparks. Today I bring to you another video game video, review, thing possibly, that will be seen if I'm lucky by 50 people. But guess what? I don't give a shit, because I'm thankful for every single one of you and cannot wait to bring you guys more content to enjoy. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, dislike, report it, do whatever the fuck you want. So, with that being said, let's just jump right into the video.
Taking primary and secondary positions, requesting immediate engagement and overhead control. Engage. Get them away from population area. Over. What are you guys seeing around, guys? They're not really close. I'm just cross-checking now and then. Is it really close to population? Well, they're about 50 meters from the clock now. Can you confirm the grid? The current location. Also, approximate distance to the nearest clock. How far? 50 meters. What's the approximate distance to the nearest clock? Over. Roger, closest clock is a 200 meters. Maybe catch them in the middle of that. Shouldn't be any collateral. I don't think we're going to have any collateral if we go along the road. We're observing and walking farther away from all collateral damage. Roger, if you could estimate on distance, something that allows that.
Let's talk about 6 Days in Fallujah, which stands out in the crowded landscape of first-person shooters, for its unique approach to storytelling, realism, and its emphasis on emotional depth. While some of the major titles like Call of Duty and Battlefield are widely known for their explosive action and expansive multiplayer modes, 6 Days in Fallujah offers a distinctly different experience by focusing on real-world military operations, specifically the Second Battle of Fallujah during the Iraq War. Here's why it may be considered superior to other big titles in that genre. First, let's dive into the realism and authenticity of the game. Unlike Call of Duty and Battlefield, which often prioritize cinematic spectacle and the over-the-top action, 6 Days in Fallujah strives for a grounded, authentic portrayal of modern warfare. This game was developed with the consultation of real Marines who fought in Fallujah. The game takes care to recreate the psychological and emotional aspects of combat, not just the action either.
It was pitch black that night. Pitch black, because they did the attack on no moon, no illumination at all.
And you could hear them from the mosque shouting to each other, let them come in, you know, never run, never show them that you're afraid.
All of a sudden, we had Humvees blasting AC/DC, and we're like, let's go in, let's get it over with, let's go home.
It's not a general's war. It's a war that's fought by the corporals and the sergeants and the non-commissioned officers taking charge of their fire teams and their squads.
I knew this was an Al-Qaeda thing, this was a foreign fighter thing. I knew this was whoever the hell wanted to fight us in the whole world was coming to Fallujah.
It's not just about the typical mowing down enemies, it's about navigating the moral and ethical dilemmas that these soldiers faced in real-world urban combat. The game's use of real-life tactics, decisions, and environments, along with its reliance on real accounts from soldiers, gives players a more intimate and sobering look at war. This authenticity resonates with players seeking a more meaningful experience, as it challenges them to think beyond the immediate thrill of victory or defeat. Let's now discuss the game's emphasis on narrative and emotional impact. While Call of Duty and Battlefield have memorable campaigns, they tend to be action-packed, linear narratives with dramatic set pieces. While in contrast, 6 Days in Fallujah gives players a chance to experience war from a more human perspective, with missions based on real events and decisions made under pressure. The game doesn't just focus on the heroics of soldiers, it explores the complexity of war, from the loss of comrades to the uncertainty of navigating hostile urban environments. The emotional weight of these moments is more pronounced than the spectacle found in traditional shooters, making it a more thought-provoking experience for players. Now, one of the standout features of 6 Days in Fallujah is its innovative AI and procedural mission design. Unlike Call of Duty and Battlefield, where enemies follow scripted paths and encounter patterns, 6 Days in Fallujah uses a system that allows the behavior of enemy forces to adapt and evolve dynamically. And trust me when I say this, 6 Days in Fallujah is a game that is impossible to speedrun. You will never ever be able to learn the patterns of the AI or the objectives. No matter how many times you fail or how many times you pass the same level, it always changes. The game's enemies will adjust their tactics based on player action, creating a more unpredictable and challenging environment. This adds an element of tension and realism as soldiers must constantly adapt to changing conditions and make quick, high-stakes decisions. Now, one of the things that I love about this game is its focus on tactics over pure action. While some of the major titles often reward fast reflexes and explosive action, 6 Days in Fallujah requires a more tactical approach. The game's mechanics encourages players to think strategically about how they move, how they coordinate with teammates, and how they approach hostile environments. Whether that's navigating tight alleyways or clearing a building room by room, every action feels calculated. The focus on tactics rather than just quick action and reflexes appeals to players who want more in-depth gameplay and more cerebral experience in a shooter. Additionally, 6 Days in Fallujah stands out for its educational value. And I know what you're thinking. Sparks, you absolute fucking baboon. I'm not here to learn. I'm here to be a patriotic, nicotine and caffeine addicted, bald eagle screeching, cold-blooded, crude oil stealing soldier without needing to actually enlist. But just hear me out. 6 Days in Fallujah doesn't shy away from the human cost of war. It places a significant emphasis on the emotional toll of combat, highlighting the experience of both soldiers and civilians. This is a stark contrast to the major titles, where the human cost of war is often backgrounded in favor of thrilling gameplay and high-paced action. By tackling the complexity of real-world conflict, 6 Days in Fallujah brings an added layer of depth that challenges players to consider the consequences of their actions and the larger impact of war. To conclude, 6 Days in Fallujah offers a refreshing departure from the typical formula of modern shooters by prioritizing realism, emotional depth, tactical gameplay, and an honest depiction of the human side of war. For players looking for a more immersive and thought-provoking experience, 6 Days in Fallujah offers a compelling alternative to the often predictable offerings of major titles such as Call of Duty and Battlefield.
And how does that make you feel?
I don't know, it's really bothering me that the viewers think that the video is over, but I still haven't given my perspective, my feelings, my emotions, how the game made me feel.
Well, what's your move? Is that it? Is the video over?
Yeah, I guess so. Guess again, motherfuckers! Because right now, it is time for me to discuss my feelings towards 6 Days in Fallujah. Let me break this down for the casual run-and-gun gamers. 6 Days in Fallujah is so significant, much more than what meets the eye. For example, let's really dive into the documentary portion that is shown prior to every campaign mission. Not only do we get to see very live footage of a very real battle, but we get to hear firsthand from these brave Marines who were there. Now, some of you may think to yourself, oh, how cool, the game developers got real soldiers to talk about their experiences for the game. It's so much more than that. You're playing a mission with an objective in a village where this actually happened. The next time you play one of these missions with your friends, try to think less about ending the mission so everyone can respawn after seeing your buddy get folded by a 7.62 from a balcony, and think about what these Marines were feeling when they saw that happen in real life. Think about how not only they weren't able to restart their day from the beginning like this is the movie The Edge of Tomorrow, but that they also had to push forward with their mission. No time to feel real emotion about the loss of a brother, no time to think about what they could have done differently to prevent it, no time to think about what life will be like without their friend. All they have time to think about is how to complete their objective and how to do it without going home in a casket. So, after everything I've said, I truly hope the title of this video makes more sense. 6 Days in Fallujah is not exclusively a video game for the entertainment of its players. It's a history book that shows the complexities and emotional distress of the most tragic battle of the Middle East involving the United States. The developers of 6 Days in Fallujah didn't just design its game mechanics to run effectively, they made it to replicate the gut-wrenching reality of what took place during the Iraq War, and to truly put its players in the boots of those brave soldiers who were there. Now, I want to make it very clear that at the end of the day, people like myself play video games to take a step out of reality with our actions being completely fictional and having no consequences. But I most importantly want you to remember that once upon a time, this was a reality for the Marines who were there in Fallujah.